The bridge was swiftly repaired, but the same couldn't be said for Horus. He became withdrawn and only seemed to stare at his buffers. Nothing could make him leave the shed. "It's a beautiful day," smiled Winnie. "Would you like to take my first train?" No, Horus stammered. Can't be trusted with passengers. "It's going to the seaside. My driver's doctor prescribed a trip to the seaside when he felt unwell, and it did wonders." "Seems that's all doctors order these days," Walter grumbled. "Save your steam, Winnie. If the lazy lout wants to sit and sulk, let him. At least then he won't damage our rails." Walter snorted off to find his wagons. Winnie scowled. She was determined not to give up on Horus. She spoke to Mr. Catherick about taking Horus's trucks between her own trains. "Very well, but I must stress this is only a temporary arrangement," he finished, with a firm stare at both engines. For a while, Winnie managed well. She grew accustomed to leaving her coaches, trundling off with the trucks, and helping the workmen until it was time for her return train. However, it didn't take long for the strain to show. Do you feel unwell?" Horus asked. "Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle?" Walter muttered sarcastically. "I'm fine," she huffed. "Just need to catch my breath." The next morning, her coaches were packed with people bound for the seaside. With a pained whistle, she dragged the train up the line. Mr. Jones felt defeated. With his recent blunders fresh in his mind, he'd made a decision. He walked downtrodden towards the shed, breaking Horus from his trance. "Problem, sir?" he stammered.
Well, Mr. Jones began. I came to, apologize."
Come again, sir?" Horus asked.
"I tried my best. I'm just not cut out for this railway, especially after putting you in danger. That's why I've come to
Jones! Thank heavens you're here!" Mr. Catherick came hurrying towards them. "I've just received word from up the line. Winnie's got a leak in her firebox and can't hold water. The passengers are stranded."
"Oh," Jones sighed. "What a shame that is, sir."
Mr. Catherick stared, waiting for Jones to take the hint. "So," he said at last, "we're going to take them on. Get steam in, Horus, quick as you can." "Sir," Horus murmured nervously. "I know you're apprehensive, Horus," Mr. Catherick interrupted, "but we cannot abandon our passengers. Mr. Jones and I will see that you come to no harm. Right, Jones?" A determined smile crossed Mr. Jones's face.
"Right,"
he proclaimed. Horus wished he shared the same confidence. When his tanks and bunker were filled to their appropriate limit, he set off down the line. Keep steady, he told himself. The passengers cheered thankfully when they saw him coming. Gently pushed the coaches to the next station where a red-faced Winnie sat. Her crew were frantically trying to patch her leak. "I'm sorry," she sighed. "I tried my best." Horus looked thoughtful. You've done splendidly," he smiled comfortingly. But you're in this state because of me. It's time I return the favor." With newfound determination, Horus ran to the front of the train. The guard's whistle blew, and he answered with his own mighty On they went, with Horus puffing steadily and Jones shoveling coal for dear life. Then the Rhine came into view. Horus gulped. "Oh dear," he shivered, knowing what he had to do. "I've done it! I've done it! Splendid, boys! Absolutely splendid!" Mr. Catherick cried with glee as he manned the controls. "Don't let up! We're nearly there!" Sure enough, the seaside came into view. The sun shone on the water, beckoning them onward. "I've done it! I've done it!" Horus cheered. "Steady, Horus!" Mr. Catherick cautioned. "We're here! We're here! Hurrah! "Oh, dear," he cried. Not again." He braced himself for a scolding when... "We've made it!" cried the passengers. They spilled out of the coaches, thanking both engine and crew, before hurrying off to the water. "I'm sorry, sir," he began, as he saw Mr. Catherick coming around front. "My dear boy, whatever for? You delivered the passengers to their final destination, in rather spectacular fashion to boot. You saved the day. Or rather, you both saved the day," he finished, turning to Mr. Jones.
"Oh, well, it wasn't anything really, sir,"
Jones blushed. "It was something, indeed," Mr. Catherick chuckled. "I think we've finally found your calling on this railway, Jones. I want you to be Horus's permanent fireman. Would you like that?"
"Oh, sir, I'd be honoured, sir. That all right with you, Horus?"
"I'd like nothing more," Horus smiled. But sir, do I still have a place on your railway?" Mr. Catherick stared thoughtfully at the engine sat cockeyed before him. "After today's performance, Horus, you've more than earned your place here." Horus was ecstatic. All afternoon, he gazed out at the sea. Mr. Jones polished and cleaned him as best as he could to pass the time. By sunset, Winnie and Walter arrived to put him back on the rails and bring the passengers home. "A marvelous effort!" Winnie enthused. "Not bad," Walter smiled wryly, "for a lazy lout. I suppose it's time for me to do my bit now." "You must have impressed him. I reckon that's the best apology I've ever heard from Walter," Winnie chuckled.
You're all right, are you?
Horus asked. Oh, just fine, Winnie beamed. My crew patched me up, and I feel good as new. What about you, then?
I'd say your doctor's orders have done me well, he chuckled. A seaside trip is just what an engine needs.
More than a seaside trip, my boy, added Mr. Catherick. I have some adjustments in mind that will make your work much easier, but they will take some time. You won't mind continuing to run under your, half measures until I can make the arrangements?
I think I'll manage just fine, sir,
Horus smiled, with a knowing look at Winnie. All three engines became great friends. Walter and Winnie still bickered, as siblings are prone to do. But never ended the day without resolving their quarrels. They couldn't if they tried, for Horus became quite the mediator. He was especially thankful to call the railway his home. Mr. Catherick made sure Horus duly received the adjustments he deserved. But that is a story for another day.